no music today. There's been so much stupidity. I just gotta talk about gamer maturity. For those who don't know, this is going to be concerning the whole Batman Arkham Knight debacle that happened yesterday. I put up a video saying my thoughts on it and how WB Interactive Entertainment and Rocksteady and WB Montreal has lost me as a customer because they're focusing on DLC for Batman Arkham Origins, yet they want to release a new title. And I said that was unacceptable. They're milking at this point, and that they've lost me as a customer. Now, what brought this about was I was watching a YouTuber. He uploaded a video saying that, oh, I'm excited about the new Batman. What are you guys' thoughts on this? What do you think? So I said in the comments, let me pull it up real quick. I said in the comments, they didn't fix the problems with Origins, yet they want to move on to the next one. Nah, son, I'm not with that. Fanboys, flame me, I don't care. Because I knew people were going to get mad about my comment and were going to come flame me and things of that nature. Well, for the most part, most people were mature about it. So, one guy comes in and he says, you do know that Arkham Origins is from a different developer, WB Montreal. Yes, I'm well aware, but we'll talk about that in just a second. The original developer, Rocksteady, made Arkham 1 and Arkham 2, and now they are working on Arkham Knight. I replied, Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment still published all the titles. I'm sure they are aware of the issues with Origins, yet still no fixes. And they want to move on to the new game. That's still not cool. Then the original, the YouTuber that uploaded the video comes in and says, Rocksteady isn't responsible for Origins. Okay, that's the second time I've heard that. Then it's this one YouTuber who commented on this video and also came into my video, The Black King. How you doing out there? I love you. Welcome to the show. He says, why are dumb people too lazy to do simple research? Referring to me. And I know he was referring to me by what he said on my video. Now, what did he say on my video exactly? Let me pull it up real quick. 1 second. 1 second. He says, so you want to punish Rocksteady Studios for the stupidity of Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment, who are just the publishers. And he says, and then I respond to him, yes, I do. WB Interactive Entertainment is responsible. They are responsible. You know this, right? So, since you blame me for not doing research, let's talk about it. I want to give you a little brief, just on the surface overview of how video game publishers work and why this is not okay. Now, if you remember a month or so back, EA was under investigation for Battlefield 4 and its broken nature. Who developed that game? DICE developed that game. Yet, EA, the publisher, was under investigation for the bugs with that game. Why? Because EA calls the shots. EA is responsible for the quality of that product. And we're going to get into this. We're going to get into this real fast. Let me do this main event style real quick. I'm not trying to steal your style, but I need to see. I'm blind. And my Google Chrome is acting up. And so I'm having to use this crappy Firefox. And the image enlarger is weird on Firefox for me. Now, let's talk about this. Now, since you say I don't do research, any person out there can simply just type in video game publisher and get some information on how this works. Now, this is from Wikipedia, which I will put this in the info bar. And I have another story for someone who's been in the industry since the beginning and what he has to say about video game publishers. Now, the Wikipedia article, it says, A video game publisher is a company that publishes video games that they have either developed internally or have had developed by a video game developer. As with book publishers or publishers of DVD movies, video game publishers are responsible for their products' manufacturing and marketing, including market research and all aspects of advertising. They often finance the development, sometimes by paying a video game developer. The publishers call this external development, and sometimes by paying an internal staff of developers called a studio. The larger video game publishers also distribute the games they publish, while some smaller publishers instead hire distribution companies or larger video game publishers to distribute the games they publish. Other functions usually performed by the publisher includes deciding on and paying for any license that the game may utilize, paying for localization, layout, printing, and possibly the writing and the user manual, and the creation of graphic design elements such as box design. So they do get in on some aspects of design here and there. Large publishers may also attempt to boost efficiency across all internal and external development teams by providing services such as sound design and code packages for commonly needed functionality. Because the publisher often finances development, it usually tries to manage development risk with a staff of producers or project managers to monitor the progress of the developer. So they are monitoring the development process. So in other words, the publishers know that Batman Arkham Origins has issues. But we'll get into that in a second. Critique ongoing development and assist as necessary. Most video games created by an external video game developer are paid for with periodic advances on royalties. These advances are paid when the developer reaches a certain stage of development called milestones. Now, there was something interesting down here at the bottom as well. Yes, there's under the business risk portion of Wikipedia, 1, 2, 3 bullet points down, it says, the industry has become more hit-driven over the decade. Consumers buy the game that's best marketed and not necessarily of the highest quality. So that just goes to show you we're not really getting high-quality products anymore since last generation, the PS3 and 360. Lost my spot. Highest quality. Therefore, buying fewer other games in that genre. This has led to much larger game development budgets as every game publisher tries to ensure that its game is number one in its category. It also causes publishers to, on occasion, force developers to focus on sequels instead of successful franchises, or focus on sequels of successful franchises instead of exploring original IP. Some publishers, such as Activision Blizzard and Electronic Arts, have both attracted criticism for acquiring studios with original games and assigning them to support roles in more mainstream franchises. Sorry guys, I'm a bit dyslexic at times. So, as you see, some publishers can force developers to focus on certain aspects of certain things. Rather than focus on original IPs, they force them to focus on successful franchises. So that sounds like to me the publishers have some sort of control in regards to the developmental process. Now, one Bruce has been in the game for a while, and he knows how this goes, and the link to his article and what he has to say about video game publishers will be in the info bar as well. It says, what do game publishers do, and is there any need for them? It says, I was actually at the very beginning of this in the late 70s and early 80s. Back then, if you wrote a game, you had to manufacture, market, and distribute it yourself. You became your own publisher because there was no other way to market. This is what happened at Bug Bite and Imagine in Liverpool. The owners of the companies were initially the guys that wrote the game. Once you were up and running, other game writers who couldn't be bothered with all the publishing work came to you and asked you, would you handle their stuff too? This was the beginning of our industry. And later on, the last bullet point in the first paragraph, it says, and the headline is, so what do game publishers actually do? It says, manage the whole industry. People who buy consoles to play games, the games are everything. And publishers have total control over the games. So they have total control and power over the industry. So they decide what happens, how it happens, and a big responsibility to be and to be fair, they tend to try and act for what they perceive to be the good of the industry. So, my friend, like I said, I love you. You're part of this community. But this is just the way it is. The publishers and the developers are together. Like Main Event said, they're in bed with one another. The publishers call the shots. Now, as we heard earlier, the publishers can dictate what the developers focus on, such as focus on successful franchises rather than original IP. So, what's stopping a publisher from saying, hey, don't worry about the bugs right now, just focus on the DLC? Yes, WB, Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment, is responsible for the bugs in Arkham Origins. What they've done is unacceptable. How does it feel to know that Arkham Origins isn't even a year old yet and it's already outdated? Because they're already working on the next one. Now granted, they most likely have been working on the title since Origins was announced. But still, since they're pushing a new one, they're letting you know, hey, the old one is outdated. It's the same thing that we see with Call of Duty. Now you guys get mad over how Call of Duty comes out every year, but yet you're going to defend Arkham Knight for it coming out, and Arkham Origins isn't even a year old. And the bugs haven't been fixed. The publishers are responsible. Like I said earlier in the video, EA was responsible for Battlefield 4. DICE was the developer, but EA is still responsible. The game was broken. That was unacceptable. EA was investigated for it. It's time to grow up, gamers. Stop all this, I just gotta have my game. You're addicted. And it's microwave. You don't even realize what they're doing to you. It's microwave gaming at this point. The game isn't even a year old yet, and they're already pushing towards the sequel. Remember back in the day, for those of you who do some research, back in the day when we got games, we had all the stuff that was that's DLC, and that was DLC in Arkham City and Arkham Origins, challenge map packs, combat challenges, costumes, characters, Catwoman, Nightwing, and Robin. All of that was DLC. Back in the day, that would have been unlockables. Straight out the gate. You would not have to pay money for that. You pay your set premium for the game, you take it home, all that stuff is available to you. It's up to you to expand your experience by playing. You play the game, you unlock stuff, more content for you, and more replayability for you. There's more things for you to access and go back and do. But now, they took all the extra fun little stuff that they used to give you back in the day, and they stick it on, they make it DLC, and they want to make you pay for it. So now what they're doing is they give you a product that's only going to last maybe a year, with half the content ready and available to you. They're going to squeeze as much money out of you as they possibly can, and then it's on to the next one. And not even a year later, and we're seeing this now. Did you see the DLC list for Arkham Origins? I did a video on this already. Just go look at it. That DLC list was staggering. Oh my God, son. That's crazy how much DLC. And I was waiting for the Game of the Year edition until they pulled what they did to the Wii U consumers. And I don't even own a Wii U. But I know it's not just about me. It's a gaming community for a reason. We're supposed to stick up for each other. And if I see something that's not going right on another platform concerning the game, then I'm out. It just is what it is. But I'll be the bad guy again. I'm pretty sure a bunch of people will see this video. They'll come in and they'll dislike the video. Or they won't watch it because of the title, Gamer Maturity. Because no one wants to grow up and educate themselves. And you know, you'll come in and you'll dislike and whatever. And for those who don't know, the media has come out and called us killers again. They blame Dark Souls. I'll try to have the link in the info bar for that. But like Event was saying earlier today in his video, and I'm most likely gonna put his video in the info bar as well, so you can see it. But go check out his video, Main Event TV or Event Status. Check out his channel. Check out his video. Very informative stuff. Where he talks about, you know, gamers, you can get mad over video games and didn't talk about my video game. I'm gonna buy my video game anyway. How dare you say anything about my developer, my video game, or my favorite company? But when the media comes out and says that, hey, these guys are killers or rapists or things of that nature, I don't want to worry about that. Y'all do the Drake. Y'all start draking. Like, what is that? Why don't y'all get in droves and go together and say, hey, media, look, what you're doing is wrong. You're lying. You're lying right out your mouth. But you'll rather sit on YouTube or go to different forums and attack each other and be divided against each other, all while the companies sit back, stack their legs up, and make money off of it. Seriously, gamers, it's time to grow up. The age of I just want to play my game ended the year of 2008. When they started all this mess with this DLC and ripping people off. It is what it is. Anyway, it's been Omni, and I am out of here. Till next time, take care of yourselves and each other. I can't stress that enough. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening.